Today we're going to be talking about a guaranteed way to make your neck pain and your neck mobility worse if you're over the age of 40. And actually, if you're even under the age of 40, this will also make your neck problems much worse. Now, this is a key piece of advice that doctors, physical therapists, chiropractors, all kinds of people will tell you to follow, even though it's pretty much guaranteed to make things go bad. So if you're ready, let's get ready to think right, move right, and feel right. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did a video in Japan where I talked about some insane advice about the exercise that is known as neck circles. And it was a video that if you haven't seen, you should go watch after you watch this one. But in it, I talk about how there is a physical therapist out there who's making videos who's saying, you know what, neck circles are dangerous if you're an older person. And there have been many videos just like this on fitness YouTube. There have been many doctors and therapists out there saying stuff like this for decades. And I wanted to boil this down so you understand exactly how this is going to make your life much worse. So in short, the key piece of advice is don't move your neck too much, because if you move your neck, you're going to make your neck worse. Okay, that's the conventional model. But the reality is the guaranteed way to ensure that your neck mobility is worse and that your neck pain gets worse is to stop moving your neck. Now just think about this. If you have a hand, which you do, and you want to make sure that your fingers and your wrists all function well for the long run, that they are able to move and articulate even as you hit your 60s, 70s, 80s, the guaranteed way to make sure that you lose that mobility is to stop moving your fingers in your hand, right? So if I want it to move well, I have to keep moving and using the muscles and making sure that I have full range of motion. If instead I were to do something crazy, like say, I don't know, live with my whole hand stuck like a fist inside of a shoe every single day so that my fingers are just stuck like this, what's going to happen to my fingers in my hand? Well, after about a year of this, I'm not going to be able to move my fingers very well. I'm not going to be able to use my hand very well. Likewise, if I say, you know what, I want to protect my neck, I want my neck to be safe at all times, and I say, how am I going to do that? Oh, I know, I'm going to make sure that I can't move my neck at all. I'm just going to wear a neck brace forever. That way, my neck muscles won't have to do any work, and that way, my bones won't collide with each other. This neglects to account for the fact that your muscles are designed to wither and die if you don't use them. And your muscles are also designed to move your bones in space, and as long as you train your muscles to do that correctly, you can move them just fine without damaging bones. Now, yes, there are structures that go through your neck, like blood vessels and nerves and things that can be sensitive. And that's why when you are doing any sort of neck exercise, you should be careful about it. You should be slow, you should be controlled, you should not be trying to do things at a really high intensity unless you're like an NFL football player or you're fighting in the MMA and your neck is already prepared for that because you've had a whole lot of practice having your neck muscles torqued and stuck in weird positions, which I can't even show you because I'm not letting my neck move at all because it's much safer this way. So to be clear, the advice that not moving your neck is going to keep your neck healthier and safer is the advice that's guaranteed to make your neck worse. You have to use your neck. You have to use your shoulders in order to feel good and in order to feel functional. Another way this has shown up in the past is I heard a client years ago tell me that her doctor said, oh, you have neck pain. Well, make sure that you never ever look up, because if you look up, you're going to damage your vertebrae. You're going to damage the bones in your neck. So for years, she never looked up because she was deathly afraid that the act of looking up was actually bad for her. Now, if you're out there, you've probably heard that advice, or maybe you haven't, hopefully you haven't, but if you have heard that advice, you should know that that's ridiculous. If you look at the way humans have developed over millennia, and if you just watch a baby learn how to move on this planet, they are constantly doing stuff that strengthens the muscles in the back of the neck so that they can do pretty much any position safely, right? So they'll often just be down on the floor and then this belly time, right? And then they're like lifting this heavy head thing so that they can actually have the strength to control the head in a lot of different positions. Do you brace the neck of a baby to protect its vertebrae? No. Do you do that to teenagers to protect their vertebrae? No. Do you do it to 20-year-olds? No. 30-year-olds? No. The only time you really brace the neck is when you broke something or you like really badly hurt something and then you need to be careful about it. But ultimately, the sign of recovery, the sign of health is that you are able to move the head and neck normally again. So if somebody is telling you, oh, you have neck pain, your new normal is now to never use your neck, then that person is full of something and it's not useful knowledge or advice. So if you're out there and you're like, man, my neck bugs me and I try not to move it as much as possible, you have to flip the script here and realize the only way you're going to get back to a pain-free range of motion with your neck is to gradually move it more, learn how to gradually and with a minimum of pain restore motions in every axis, in every permutation and configuration so that you're not getting snapping, popping, cracking, etc. so that it feels smooth and easy and controlled no matter where you look. Now, I actually tweaked my neck while surfing in Japan, and I've been gradually restoring the range of motion because the day I tweaked it surfing, it was bad. Like it was painful. Now I get a little bit of pain on one side, and I realized that some of this was probably I was set up for this injury because I spend time on the computer so much and it's a lopsided activity, and then I'm surfing and I just happened to take a wave funny and it tweaked my neck. But now that means I'm not just splinting my neck, it means I'm gradually exploring ranges of motion, figuring out what's pulling in funny ways, what feels tight, what feels weak, and then I'm going to restore things so that, oh, okay, yeah, now I can do this without feeling too much pain, well, not any, and just not feeling like I'm hurting myself. And that's a key piece of the puzzle. You're not trying to force yourself into ranges and pop and snap. You're just trying to gradually restore things so that the muscles know how to get into positions. So if you're looking for ways to do that, I will link to videos down below. The video I did in Japan talks about it. I've also got some other neck pain videos that I'll link to in the description box. I hope you find them helpful. If you found this video helpful, subscribe and also consider supporting this channel. I'll leave a link down below, but uprighthealth.com/donate will show you all the simple, easy options. I appreciate you watching. I appreciate your support. And as always, I hope you remember that pain sucks. Life shouldn't.